what's up, world? It's your boy, Drew Marcy, rap coach of the century, of the millennium, whatever it is. Today we're going to be talking about the 3 ways overall that you can write a rap. Now, this is a redo of a video I did a while ago, maybe a year or 2 ago, but wanted to update it, better sound, maybe some more insights, whatever it is. So this is all about really the 3 ways that you can construct raps. If you're watching this as an amateur or somebody trying to blow up in the game or whatever it is, just out of interest, this would be really good for you. So without further ado, let's rock into it. All right, so the 3 main ways are, you know, the sort of handwritten way / the BlackBerry, whatever it is, writing it down, let's say it that way. Then we'll call it the sort of Lil Wayne way, which is like think of a few lines, and then the JayZ way. All right, so let's just go through those, and we'll talk a little bit about what the rappers are that do this, and you know, it may be able to like sort of put you like, if your favorite rapper does it this way, this might really help. You might be willing to try something out new and discover something new about your rap. But let's get into it. All right, so first way is of course handwriting it, doing it the old school way, you know, written it loose leaf paper. Now, I also put writing it on your phone in this category as well. So, you know, that's pretty much the same way, just writing it down is really the easiest way to put this. But this is the way that Nas, Eminem, Drake on his phone, most rappers before, you know, you had cell phones and smartphones and all that shit, this is the way they did it. You can see Nas, and I'll put some pictures of Nas over here. You can see Eminem. We're handwriting it down. What are the advantages to this? First, advantages is it's gonna be slower. You're probably more likely to be lyrical, you know, like just straight up. Like think about Nas, Eminem, people like that. All right, when you're writing that slow, when you're taking your time, when you're able to look at the words, feel the words physically, you're much more likely to question that little random line. You know what I mean? So if you're really into being a more like lyrical, miracle, spiritual individual, all of that, you may consider doing it this way. Now, also, of course, if Nas, Eminem, people like this are your favorite rapper, another reason to go there. Now, Drake is also on this way, and yes, I get the jokes like, well, actually, Quentin Miller uses his BlackBerry or whatever it is. We all know that Drake does write raps and has written raps, so haha, but you know, if you're just wanting to study him as well, he is famously using the BlackBerry, and we saw the shit back in the day, Tim Westwood, he even raps about it, the BlackBerry with the side scroll, said that motherfucker to any rapper that I know, like all of that. So he uses probably iPhones, all of that, and many rappers this day, probably some of you watching, me too, usually I'm writing on my cell phone at this point. It's just ease of use, easy to go. Similarly, you're still gonna be able to double check your lyrics, make sure that they're well organized, all of that good stuff. But, you know, obviously you're writing a lot quicker. It's easier to delete things. You may find yourself not wanting to question that lyric as much if it's so easy to either delete it or move on. Whereas handwriting it, you know, it's gonna take a lot longer to be like, yo, this bar is hella hot. I never stop. You can really sit down. It takes a while to write all that. You might be like, all right, and I ain't really hitting it. You know, let me think about another one. If you're using a cell phone, you know, you might be like, this bar is hella hot, I'll never stop, and then just move on. So it's sort of like, we could almost think of this as like a thermometer, you know, like heavy lyricism for the most part, all the way up here, handwriting, all that shit. Then, you know, when it comes a little bit easier to just move on, like a cell phone, that kind of stuff, you know, that's gonna affect it, for better or worse. I'm not here to tell you like this is the best way or who's the best rapper of this list. That's for other videos, maybe other channels. All right, let's move on to the Lil Wayne way. Now this is a big issue because a lot of people, they think that when rappers like Lil Wayne, Jadakiss, Kanye, they say, and this is all people in this category here, when they say things like, I don't write, or, you know, I don't write shit. You hear that a lot from a lot of modern rappers. That means in many people's brains and many amateurs' brains, they think that means I literally do not think about what I'm saying. I spontaneously spit these bars. Yo, my name is Drew and I'm about to fucking rap and I'm gonna put this on YouTube and you know, that's a fucking fact. They're like, just literally spontaneous. No, that's not what you're fucking doing. All right? When you're talking about Lil Wayne, Jadakiss, Kanye, people like that, When they say I don't write, they mean they don't write it down. They are pre-thinking of the rhymes. They're organizing it in their brain for maybe 4 to 8 bars, and the bars being like, for layman's terms, for the purposes of this video, a bar is basically just a line of rap. But 4 to 8 lines of rap, they're just sitting there in silence, telling it, and then you're like, all right, I got it. I figured out what I'm gonna say. Engineer, press play, whatever. Dump, beat plays, they record 4 to 8 bars, and they say, all right, stop. And they sit there, think of the next bars, and go on. So they are pre-thinking of what they're gonna say. It's not the same as going off the top of the dome, as we say in hip hop, freestyle, as far as like spontaneous off the top of the dome freestyle, where you're literally saying things instantaneously without pre-thought. That's a separate side of rap, and we do have videos about that. I'll put in the video description box below a video we have all about the definition of real freestyle verse, you know, free verse all this other shit. But it's not the same. So Lil Wayne, that's how you're gonna do it if you wanna get into that category. You're gonna go into the studio, you're gonna have your little recording setup, whatever it is, and you're gonna think, you know, you're gonna sit there with the record button ready to go, or your engineer. Think of whatever you're gonna say for 4 to 8 bars, however long. Say it, say, all right, record, boom, yo, da-da-da-da-da, whatever I thought. Then stop, and you sit there in the booth. Now, a lot of new rappers do that. I'd say, of the modern game of like mainstream rappers, I'd say probably, you know, 60, 70% of them do this. Part of the reason that this is because they have, if they're signed to a label or if they have a home studio, they have unlimited studio time so they can write the song while standing in the booth. It's easier to do it this way if you're like lit, you know, it turns. Anybody who's watching doesn't know what that means. It means if you're fucked up, if you're on drugs or you're drunk, it's a lot easier to write rap this way than, you know, sitting down with fucking pen and pad or phone. If you're like, ugh. It's easier to be like, all right, I just need to think of like 2 lines and I can sip my lean or get high again, whatever. So that's another reason why. Unlimited studio time, easier to write this way when you're faded. And then the third reason is it allows you to switch flows a lot easier, because when you're writing in an organized fashion, sometimes you can find yourself as a rapper, and only rappers really know this, but you find yourself stuck in one flow. But if you're recording only 4 to 8 bars, you can stop, re-listen to it, rehear it, see what you did right, and then immediately switch flows after 4 bars. Part of the reason why Wayne himself switches flows quite a bit in his songs, all right? So that's the Lil Wayne method. On that team, we have, you know, Wayne does it, Kanye, Jadakiss. I think all of the locks do it. Most modern rappers, you know, those are the names I've heard, they admit it. On the other side, you have, remember the handwritten phone side, you had Eminem, Drake, Nas, Pac. I forgot to mention Pac, obviously hand wrote it, you've probably seen that. And then the last, we have the JayZ category, which JayZ and Biggie are the only people I know that really do this. And this is sort of a version of the Wayne, or I really should say the Wayne version is a version of the JayZ. But this is where you would simply think of your entire verse, maybe even your entire song, without writing it down, and then just rap it. So it's the exact same, pre-thinking, just listening to the beat, just not saying anything, not writing anything down, memorizing it automatically, and then rapping, just boom. All right, so that's JayZ. It's very on the record. This is how he does it. There's pretty much no debate. He just sits there and does it. I mean, it's genius. Apparently the reason why is because he used to be dealing drugs in the streets of Brooklyn, and he wouldn't have a pen and pad, so, you know, while he's standing there in the corner hustling for hours on end, he just taught himself how to memorize a verse and rhyme and just be able to spit it. And over time, you get better. You know, anything you practice, you get good at, like Denzel said in that recent quote.
Buzz about this fake news. You were the subject of a fake news story.
Oh yeah, what they say? I was running for president. No, I voted.
No,
what they say?
You switched your support.
I switched. Yeah.
What do you make of all the fake news and it affects?
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
So what do you do?
That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth, not just to be first, but to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it. Anything you practice, you'll get good at.
That's the JayZ way. Apparently Biggie did this as well. For all I know, Biggie influenced Jay to keep doing it that way. I don't know. But that's just, if you're able to do that, I give you major props, because that's fucking hard. I don't do it that way. I don't know many rappers that can. Again, if you to do any kind of like heavy substance abuse, it's gonna be awful hard to remember your fucking name, let alone an entire verse. So that's the JayZ way. But the main part, like the main little review of this and what should you take away from this, on one side, handwritten rhymes. You got Eminem, Nas, Pac, people like that. On one side, you got Wayne, Kanye, Jadakiss. I think T.I. does it this way too, except for Paper Trail. But T.I. does it that way usually, I think. And then on one side, you have JayZ and Biggie. So point is, you could play for any team, you know what I mean? Like, these are all championship squads you could play for. It's like Lakers, Celtics, whoever. They're all great teams. You really got to sit there and find out what's best for you. You might do a combination. You know, sometimes I'll think of 4 bars, write them down, and just record them, and then blah-da-da-da. Or I might think of half of a verse, handwrite it, and then spit it. A mixture of JayZ and Eminem, whatever it is. But find out, experiment. Hopefully this is insightful to anybody who's watching. Thanks for checking it out. Be sure to subscribe if you've never seen us before. Interested in coaching? It's in the video description box below, of course. Comment, let me know. Have you heard any other ways to write? Are there any interviews you could find links where rappers talk about this? If you've heard a rapper say, no, I actually don't do it the way I heard you just say, let us know. Put it in the comments. We want to know. We're very interested in this topic. Rap deserves respect in that way. Hip hop, really how it's done. This is how to rap. It's been amazing. It's been real. Las Vegas sunshine. Talk to you soon. Comment. Let us know what you think. Peace.